The Kings are fresh off a 3-1 road trip where they had an Atlanta to Toronto back-to-back, a Toronto to Miami flight with 1 day's rest, and then once they got to Miami, they were greeted with some of the worst officiating I've seen since, well, last season. But the refs weren't the only ones preying on the Kings' downfall. No, the anti-Kings deep state gained a new member during the offseason, that member, of course, being October's very own Aubrey Graham, better known as Kendrick's son. 8 games into the season, the Kings are 5-3 and currently hold the 6th seed in the West. They started the year off with 2 pretty heartbreaking losses to the Timberwolves and Lakers, losing by 2 and 4 points respectively. And after that 0-2 start, it seemed like many Kings fans were ready to jump ship, some even saying, this team is so far gone. But the Kings said, alright, take care, as they found the views to be better on the road, winning 3 out of 4 games. The fourth capped off by a ridiculous game winner by Domantas Sabonis that left the Miami Heat wanting more life. Kings fans and players alike congratulated and applauded Domas' amazing game-winning play. But Domas said, thank me later. We got 75 games to go. So, after a tumultuous 0-2 start to the year, I think all Kings fans can agree, what a time to be alive. I don't know if you know this, but the Kings currently have 3 20-point-per-game scorers, the most by any team in the NBA. DeMar has 25.6 points per game, De'Aaron has 23.8, and Domantas has 20.3. Starting off with DeRozan, he's been the best clutch player so far this year, averaging 25.4 points per game, 4.3 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, and 2 steals per game. He's also shooting 38% from 3, which is 8% higher than his career percentage from 3, his 3-point percentage. You get what I'm saying. He's also shooting 87.5% from the free throw line. Now, on to Fox, he's looked bad from the 3-point line. Obviously, that game where he went 0 for 11 from deep did not help anything, but I think the bigger issue is that he seems to be settling for threes when he's still one of the best attackers and finishers in the entire league. And he's shooting 86% from the free throw line, which is way up from his career average of 74%. So you'd think he'd want to attack the rim more since he's actually knocking down his free throws at a really high clip. But obviously he's dealing with a finger injury on his shooting hand. You'd think that'd make him want to shoot less, but in reality, the chances of that finger getting whacked is a lot higher if he's driving to the rack. Overall, I don't think Fox is playing at the level that we're used to seeing from him, but he's still averaging 24, 5, and 5 with 2 steals per game as well, so you can't really be too upset. I think everyone is still getting used to having DeRozan on the team, and I think the person who is affected the most by this is Fox. The Kings are just simply not as reliant on him being a creator on the floor, especially at the end of games in clutch situations. Debo is literally leading the league in clutch points and clutch field goals made, so I think it's just going to take some time for Fox to adjust. And, that's perfectly normal. And it's not like he's playing bad. I saw a lot of people freaking out saying Fox is playing like shit, he needs to get his head out of his ass. I get he's not shooting the ball well, but he's doing everything else at a really high level. He is averaging 4 turnovers per game right now, but that is going to go down. I promise you. And then we got our third star, Domantas Sabonis. He's been awesome so far this year. He's leading the league in rebounding. He's averaging 20, 13, and 7 on 63% from the field and 50% from 3. I mean, he's up to 2.3 3-point attempts per game, which is double the attempts from last year. I think that's a good spot for him. I don't think we need him taking like 3 or 4 threes a game. Obviously, if he keeps up this level of efficiency, then you kind of got to let him shoot, especially if the opposing teams are just leaving him wide open, which, if he does keep knocking down his threes, teams are going to have to respect that and actually close out, which, in turn, would open things up for this offense even more. Domas' free throw percentage is also looking really good, especially compared to last year, 84.4% compared to 70.4%. And I think now is probably a good time to mention the Kings are first in the league in free throw percentage. I don't know if that's going to last all season, but regardless, that is a massive, massive improvement from last year. In case you guys forgot, we were the worst free throw shooting team in the league last year. So to jump all the way to first, especially with Monk only shooting 78% from the line, and he was, by the way, our best free throw shooter last year, and he's a career 84% from the line, so I'm not worried about him or anything. But yeah, if we can just be league average at the line, that would be huge. I think it was at the end of the year last year, Mike Brown said something like, if we were even league average at the line, our offensive rating would have jumped from 13th in the league to 5th or something crazy like that. I looked everywhere for that stat and just cannot find it for the life of me. So I guess you'll just have to believe me. But the point I want you to take from that is the Kings have improved immensely from the free throw line. But while the Kings have been awesome at the free throw line, the Kings are bottom 5 in the league in three-point shooting and three-point defense. Our three-point shooting is going to improve. Essentially, none of our shooters have been shooting well, like, at all. So we're going to see some positive regression there. The three-point defense, on the other hand, I mean, that was our big issue last year on defense as well. It is something, in theory, that could improve, but that's just kind of been an issue with this Kings team under Mike Brown. I don't really have anything like stats or analytics that say this can or will improve, and I haven't seen anybody else say that they think this can or will improve. So this might just be life with Mike Brown. But with that said, the five-man lineup with the best defensive rating this season is Fox, Huerter, DeRozan, Murray, Sabonis. And that's not just like the Kings' best five-man lineup as far as defensive rating goes. That is the best five-man lineup in the entire league, which is crazy. So obviously, something is working on defense. The crazy thing to me about that stat is that it doesn't include Keon Ellis, who's had some absolutely absurd defensive rating numbers this season. Not to mention his net rating some games has been like 50, which is insane. He also had a game where his defensive rating was 59. A defensive rating of 59 means that if Keon was on the court for 100 possessions, the other team is only scoring 59 points. 59! To give that some context, the Thunder have the best defensive rating in the league, like by a mile, and their defensive rating is 93.4. Chet, as in Chet Holmgren, has the best defensive rating out of any player, and his is 86.2. Obviously, super impressive, especially considering that that's like a 7-game sample. But that just goes to show how insane a defensive rating of 59 is. 69 would be better, but sometimes you just got to take what you can get. I think that's about it. I'm really happy with what I've seen from the Kings on defense. Obviously, their three-point defense is going to need to improve. And their own three-point shooting is going to need to improve drastically. But I'm not worried about their offense at all. We've already seen how valuable the addition of DeRozan has been. Just having a certified bucket getter to give the ball to in the fourth quarter during a close game, it's not even a luxury. It's honestly like a necessity in today's game. And Fox, he was one of the best in the clutch 2 years ago. And he was in that conversation last year too. But as good as Fox's mid-range game is, and even like his finishing and all of that, DeMar is just automatic. If you let him get to a spot, and even if you don't let him get to a spot, he'll find another spot and knock down a contested jumper from there too. So I'm excited. Once Fox and Monk get in rhythm, this offense is going to be unstoppable in the fourth quarter. Another random thing, Keegan Murray's averaging 8 rebounds a game. That's huge. Our rebounding as a whole has been awesome as well. But that's kind of, along the same lines as our defense being awesome. I guess a broader, more encompassing thing for me to say is that our effort has been superb. Crashing the glass, attacking closeouts, forcing turnovers, running fast breaks. It's all been awesome to watch. I think we're better than our record indicates, but it is a really tough Western Conference, so the Kings are going to have to earn every win they get. But I'm excited. Hope you guys are too. Go Kings, light the beam.